Hello, IELTS champion. Welcome back to our channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you the forecasted questions for IELTS Speaking Parts 2 and 3. For Speaking Part 2, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to read the cue card, and for Speaking Part 3, I'm going to read each question. I suggest that for Speaking Part 2, you pause the video, prepare your answer for 1 minute, and deliver your answer for 2 minutes. For Speaking Part 3, every time I ask the questions, you pause the video and try to answer each question. In this way, you are practicing Speaking Parts 2 and 3. For my next video, I will try to give the answers to the cue card and the questions in Part 3. Let's start. Let's move on to part 3. Question number 1. Why are some items expensive in some stores but not in others? Are cheap things good? What do you think about people who like to buy cheap things? How do people usually pay for things? Is cash payment common? What is the difference between card and cash payments? Which do you prefer to use, card or cash? Let's move on to part 3. What are the main differences between shopping in a shopping mall and shopping in a street market? In your country, which type of shopping venue is more commonly visited? Shopping malls or shopping markets? What are some of the disadvantages of shopping in a street market? How do you typically buy cheap products? Do you have any strategies? Do you think things are generally more expensive in a big shopping malls compared to street markets? What plants are important to the economy in your country? Is it common for people to have gardens in your country? How can people be encouraged to grow their own food? Why do people grow plants? For the part 3, what are the differences between traveling today and in the past? What do you think has led to the growth in the tourism industry? Why are some places popular to visit in your country? Where do you think people want to go most during the holidays? Do you think people in your country have long enough holidays? What are the differences between the ways young and old people spend their holidays? Why do people often travel abroad? Do you think young people and old people travel abroad for the same reason? Which holidays are popular in your country? Do you think having holidays helps people learn about other countries' cultures? For the part 3, are you an adventurous person? Do you think that society should help the adventurous person? Do you know any adventurous activities or extreme games? Do you like them? Why do people like adventures? Why are there so many adventurous programs? What is your idea of people spending extra money on this? Moving on for the part 3. What do we need to prepare when we cook? Do you agree that food is an important part of countries' festivals? Should children learn cooking in school? Do you think cooking should be a compulsory or an elective course? Why? Are there any differences between cooking today and in the past? Moving on for the part 3. What do we need to prepare when we cook? Do you agree that food is an important part of countries' festivals? Should children learn cooking in school? Do you think cooking should be a compulsory or an elective course? Why? Are there any differences between cooking today and in the past? For the part 3, what equipment do you find difficult to use? What can you do with a laptop? What are the benefits of using technology in the workplace? Why do some people in the workplace dislike technology? Why do people buy a lot of household appliances? What do people often do with electronic devices? For the part 3, what kind of movies do you think need to be seen at cinema to be fully appreciated? What can cinemas do to attract more audiences? Do you think people can learn about new cultures through movies? Do most people prefer to watch movies at home or in a cinema? Why? What are the advantages of going to the cinema with friends? Is going to the cinema still popular? Let's move on. Why is it difficult for some people to relax? What are the benefits of doing exercise? Do people in your country exercise after work? What is the place where people spend most of their time in their home? For the part 3, what are the differences between face to face communication and communication by telephone? Do you think body language plays a role in communication? What qualities does a person need in order to communicate well with others? What kinds of everyday conversations do people typically have in your country? When men chat with other men, do they usually talk about the same things that women do when they chat with other women? Moving on to part 3. What are some popular places to visit in your country? Why are they popular? Why do people travel? Do you think parents should make a point of taking their children to see a variety of different places? Why or why not? How do you think travel will be different in the future? For the part 3, are there any historical sites in your country? Why do people like to watch historical movies? Why is letting past experiences influence us a mistake? Why should we learn from the past? How can events in a person's past shape their present identity? Let's move on. What tasks need to be done quickly? Is eating slowly a bad habit? Is it okay to eat fast sometimes? What are the advantages of making quick decisions? What are the qualities of someone who makes quick but effective decisions? Moving on to part 3. What do you think of online advertising? Are there any great online advertisements? What do people usually buy? Why does buying new things make people happy? Do people watch useless advertisements in this day and age? Do you think there is too much advertising in our daily lives? For the part 3, what are the differences between learning skills on your own and from others? Do you think teachers are still necessary considering that there are many resources online? Where do children learn skills in your country? What important skills should a child learn? What skills do you think teenagers should have? Who should teach teenagers skills? What are the differences between children learning skills and adult learning skills? Let's move on. What are the advantages of living in the countryside? What are the disadvantages of living in the countryside? What kinds of people live in the countryside? What do people living in the countryside like to do? How has life changed over time in the countryside? Do you think it is better to live in the countryside or in the city? Let's move on. Do you like using maps? Do you think everyone should learn how to use maps? Why do some people get lost when using the navigation system? Why do you think people get lost in the city? What will people do if they get lost? Why are people afraid of getting lost? Why don't people ask for help when they are lost? For the part 3, does learning make people tired today? When do people usually feel tired? What do you think about striving for learning and striving for sports? What are the differences between feeling tired after studying and after exercising? How can people solve the problem of old people easily getting tired?
If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss an update.